Our deepest thanks to you, Your Majesty, for the wisdom and insights of your message. We are all truly honored. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon's program continues with a brief ceremony for the unveiling of a portrait of the Asantehene, as we heard earlier. This will be hosted on the ground floor of the Hilary MacDonald Beckles Administration Complex. And in deference to all of the protocols that have been effected for our royal guests today, we will quickly transition the royal delegation and just a small company of university and other officials to the second location. So we thank you for your understanding in this regard. For your continued comfort this afternoon, and so that you miss none of the proceedings, our live streaming of the event will continue, and we invite our in-room guests to remain here with us at the Sagicor Cave Hill School of Business and Management as we share together in the broadcast of the unveiling ceremony from the Hilary MacDonald Beckles Administration Complex on the main campus. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to stand for the recession of His Majesty and the royal delegation, accompanied by the university's executive delegation and the official party. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated, and please stay tuned to our UETV platforms for continuing live coverage from the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus in Barbados. And I now turn the broadcast over to our online anchor, Dr. Kenneth Connell, the campus's public orator. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And importantly, Prime Minister of Grenada. And importantly, Prime Minister of Grenada. And importantly, Prime Minister of Grenada. and Ghana, and Ghana, but also actualizing this, but also in tangible outcomes. Program will be the unveiling ceremony, which will be chaired by Dr. Henderson Carter, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. We'll have some brief remarks again by the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles. Cave Hill School of Business, and which is just across the street from the main campus, and the rest of the evening's proceedings will continue in the Hilary MacDonald building, Hilary MacDonald Beckles building, pardon me, here on campus. The atmosphere is pretty much the same as this morning. Some light breeze this afternoon, which is comforting given the heat of the day. You're probably seeing on your screen right now a live shot of the Hilary MacDonald Beckles building, which is in the shape of an Ashanti stool. The reception are awaiting the arrival of His Majesty. I see here the Executive Director of UETV, which is featuring this stream. The of course, we await the red carpet welcome. So it looks as if we are now seeing the arrival of the dignitaries, including His Majesty, on main campus at the Hilary McDonald's building. Sir Hilary has just exited the coach, and I recognize also the Honorable Chad Blackman, Minister of Educational Transformation, of course the Principal, Professor Clive Landis, and Her Excellency Juliet Bino Sutherland. Welcome home to her, and of course His Excellency David Comishong as well, as they all head towards the entrance of the building. The Hilary MacDonald Beckles building is quite a sight on campus, but probably more intriguing is the artwork inside the building. If you ever have the opportunity to visit the Cave campus, one of the main sites of interest is really this building, where an entire collection and diversity of African art awaits you. It is somewhat almost like a living museum, and you see some of the pieces at the entrance, but there is more art on the inside as well. And of course, the entire building, if we were to get a building shot, an aerial view shot, I should say, you would see the shape in the Ashanti stool design. I believe now that most of the dignitaries have already arrived, except, of course, His Majesty. And at his arrival, the remainder of the proceedings will then continue inside the building. Those of you joining us in Ghana, I hope that you are continuing this evening's broadcast, and also those of you who missed it, I hope that you are able to take in the replay of the event on UETV or Facebook feed, as well as the UETV channels throughout the region, and on, of course, the UETV app. And this looks like the arrival now of one of the dignitaries. I'm not sure if this is His Majesty or the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, but we shall see shortly. Sir Hilary Beckles, the Vice Chancellor, and the Principal, Professor Clive Landis, exit to meet the remaining dignitaries as they arrive. And this looks like the arrival now of the entourage, with an alighting from his vehicle. Yes, we were correct, is His Majesty, and he's officially met for the second time by the senior administrators and management of the university, including the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, and I am assuming that the Chancellor, the Most Honorable Doddridge Miller, is already in place at the ceremony. I'll let you take in the live feed now as we move towards the unveiling of the plaque. This concludes the commentary for today's events. I hope you enjoyed it, and also the remainder of the afternoon's proceedings as we close this historic Reclaiming Our Atlantic Destiny, Connect, Build and Renew visit from His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, Asantehene of the Asante Kingdom.
Good evening. His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu, Asantehene, Kingdom of the Asante, Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Dr. the Most Honorable Doddridge Miller, Chancellor of the University of West Indies, the Honorable Jerome Walker, Minister of Health and Wellness and Senior Minister, the Honorable Sandra Husbands, Minister of Training and Tertiary Education, the Honorable Chad Blackman, Minister of Educational Transformation, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, and Lady Beckles, Dr. Trissa Tannis, Chair of Campus Council, KPhil, and Reverend Dr. Tannis, Professor R. Clive Landis, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor, University of the West Indies, KPhil Campus, Chiefs of the Asante Kingdom, members of the Executive and Senior Management of the University of the West Indies, Her Excellency Juliet Sutherland Bino, Juliet Bino Sutherland, High Commissioner of Barbados to Guyana, His Excellency David Commichon, Ambassador of Barbados to the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, members of the Royal Delegation, members of the Cuba Delegation, members of the university community, deans and heads of departments, faculty and students, specially invited guests, members of the media, guests viewing online via UWI-TV, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening to all. I am Henderson Carter, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Education here at KPhil. Welcome to this special unveiling ceremony in a building that carries the architectural motif of an Asante stool, to honor King Cuffy's men who endeavored to create an African kingdom here in June 1675. Today, we remember these men who were dragged through the streets of Spice Town, some like Tony, burnt alive, with his last words, "If you roast me today, you cannot roast me tomorrow." Today we also remember the victims of a slave ship called the King George, which ran aground off the east coast of Barbados in 1791, killing 281 enslaved Africans bound in their chains. We also remember on this spot, this very spot, the perseverance of Quor William Jemmott, who came here to this malt plantation in 1797 and became the first black sexton in the Anglican Church of St. Stephen's, just a few minutes down the road. Quor inspires us to reach for the stars, despite his challenges, despite his enslavement. And today, this ceremony, under the theme, Reclaiming Our Atlantic Destiny, Connect, Build, Renew, focuses our attention on rebuilding that Atlantic bridge with Africa. That bridge that was broken during colonialism, but a bridge that we now restore as a highway to progress and development. Today it gives me great pleasure to invite Vice Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, historian of the 1675 conflict, to give his opening remarks. Sir Hilary?
Your Majesty, this campus, in developing its futuristic identity, thought it necessary to celebrate our ancestral roots so that every student, every worker, every visitor to this campus would be reminded of who we are. Someone had an idea of celebrating our Ghanaian roots with a structure built in honor of our ancestors. And the idea of the motif of the school, of the stool. We were honored, Your Majesty, when you came here and laid the cornerstone. We were honored when you gave us the gift of the baobab tree, which is in splendid growth on the periphery of this building. We believe then that when the leaders of this university, this campus, our principal who is now here, when they walk through this door, they would feel the spirit of our ancestors. And we have located it on this site. There were many locations we could have chosen, but we chose this location because when you are in the city, the capital city, Bridgetown, when you look up from Bridgetown, what you will see on the hill is the stool. And it was chosen for that reason, so that the majority of our people at all times will always be looking for inspiration from the stool. And this is why we are here. One of our great Caribbean artists, Rasaikin, are you here? Please come and stand next to me. Please come. I went and visited this brilliant, distinguished artist, and I said to him, we need a painting that will be permanently located here, that will speak of the descent of the stool from heaven. the stool on which, Otumfuo, you and your successors forever will sit and have the wisdom and the judgment for which you are known. And Ras Aiken thought about it, and I said to him, I can't afford to pay you. So whatever you do here is your own spiritual contribution to the struggle. And he depicted for us the descent of the stool from heaven coming to us to give us that spiritual center of gravity, so that when our Asantehenes, through time, and if my history proves to be correct, the stool was sent down to Osei Tutu the first. And here we are, 400 years later. 400 years later, and Osei Tutu the second is here. "400 years, 400 years." And I'm going to invite our great nation regional artist to describe for us briefly his creation and his vision. Please.
Greetings to all, His Majesty, to his delegation, and to all my Bajan and Caribbean family. Then I was commissioned by Hillary to conceptualize this historic moment. I didn't want to follow a literary narrative, so I just wanted to conjure a moment of mystery, an enigmatic moment wherein the actual evidence and presence of the stool is not in the painting, because it is really a moment of anticipation of its arrival. And I thought that it would be good for the painting to retain its mystery and the mystery of that moment. So they're still here looking upward in anticipation, which is looking to the highest aspects of self, really. Basically, that's the conceptual cocoon in which I did this work. And it is a distinct pleasure to be able to share it with you all. I just ask that you engage it, and because it's a visual art, so it shouldn't require a lot of deconstruction verbally, right? Because the eye has no tongue. So it's for you to engage and experience and feel, you know. Yes. Thank you.
I wish to thank our artist for the inspiration captured at that moment. He is one of the greatest artists of this region, and he has opened up our imaginations to sit here and look up to the heavens and wonder at that moment, the moment in anticipation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Hilary. Thank you, Rasakim. You've not only given us an administration building, but a very important heritage asset, so that visitors to this campus could come here in the foyer, see the drums, see the paintings, and of course, view the painting that we will now unveil. And I want to thank, before we get to the unveiling, all of you for coming and for making this such a wonderful ceremony. And permit me to thank His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu for gracing us with your presence yet again. And we're happy that you could come back and we wish you a pleasant stay in Barbados. Your presence, the portrait, our administration building, the baobab tree, the Quar Monument, we can't forget that, always remind us of our African past and our struggles against slavery and colonialism. So, ladies and gentlemen, heartfelt thanks for coming out this evening. I just want to say a few words about the painting that is about to be revealed, the portrait rather. A portrait by Eric Afani, a Ghanaian artist. And he's represented today by Salone Hilary Fiaggio. Salone, where's he? Yes, here he is. The portrait is entitled Custodian of Heritage. It's a compelling collage artwork that honors Otumfuo, the king of Asante people of Ghana, celebrating his legacy and leadership as the custodian of tradition. This intricate piece, crafted from repurposed leather, beads, and metal scraps, captures the essence of his authority, cultural significance, and enduring influence on the Ashanti people. I now invite His Majesty and Vice Chancellor Sir Hilary to unveil the portrait of His Majesty, which the university is pleased to reveal and which is being unveiled in honor of His Majesty. Sir Hilary, His Majesty.
I'm working with her.
To invite Majesty to tour the baobab tree and the plaque on the other side.
Otumfuo, I have the honor to present to you a stool. Otumfuo was invited when we were here in 2008 to observe that the motif of the president was a stool, to show the permanence of the institution and the fact of the heritage of Ashanti that we wanted to perpetuate. And that is why he readily gave me the consent to use the motif. And today, the building completed and it being formally commissioned, it is proper that he comes to you with an actual stool which has his crest in the chair embossed on it. So this will be a permanent memento of Otumfuo's connection to Cape campus as far as his commitment is concerned. And there's, as you may know, you are a historian, a quick one of that, the stool is a symbol of authority of the king. And the biggest stool in Ashanti is the rolling stool, the name of which is Esikaja Kofi. So you see Kofi coming back to, yes. Anything that is Kofi means it's indomitable and it's indestructible. And you may want to burn the objects, but you may not burn the spirit. You can never burn the spirit. So with Otumfuo presenting the stool, he's telling you that the spirit of the stool will permeate the teaching that you do here, and it will infuse into your students the symbol, the feeling of cultural identity, which was so much highlighted during his lecture this afternoon. And having said that, I now have the formal pleasure of presenting you the stool on behalf of the
That's that colleague here.
If you want to come. Yeah, you did an abstract construction, but I'm giving a physical construction. You see, you have to, I'm translating from the abstract to the real. So this is a stool. Yes. On precision, you see the sculpture and the top, the concrete nature to allow for the sitting, the support, and this is the base. And it's put on 4 legs to give it strength and stability. This is the chenche. It's the emblem of the king. Then it is coat of arms. Yeah. First of all, I wish to thank His Majesty for giving this campus the permission. And I want to emphasize, colleagues, that we had to seek permission from His Royal Highness for the right to use the concept of the stool as the architectural motif, and we were delighted when we received the correspondence from the palace that we could proceed. And I wish to thank Your Majesty for this also. I will see this and receive this as energy for this university to continue to do the work that it must do. This university was built as a tool of the upliftment of the African people and the people of Asia who were also colonized. And when it was built in 1948, the narrative was, we have a duty to liberate the colonized people of this region. And this journey, this stool, this journey is a part of that continuation. And we feel even more inspired, Your Majesty, by the energy you have given us here on the 77th year of this university. And as we approach the centenary of this university, we will keep at the center of that centenary celebration the energy you have given us to continue on our journey. Thank you so very much.
I now invite our principal, Professor R. Clive Landis, to make a presentation as well.
Your Majesty, we didn't want you to leave without a gift from the campus. So we chose our MC with great care. Henderson Carter is the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. And he is the author of this book from our Department of History. And the book is called Today in Bajan History. Today in Bajan History is, I would say, the first time that the real history of Barbados has been told on a daily basis. It is played on the radio every single day. It has been for the last 2,000 days. And it is the history of Barbados which has not previously been written. So it is in an almanac. You have one entry to read every day of the year, from January the 1st all the way to December the 31st. You can check what's on today's entry for November the 12th, and it jumps through history, and I hope you enjoy this humble gift from the University of the West Indies, and I would ask that you receive this in the presence of the Vice-Chancellor and Henderson Carter, the author.
And that concludes our ceremony in the foyer. We will now go outside to the baobab tree and to the plaque. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes.